Now we are going to look at the U17 team that made it to the World Cup. Okay. I don't know. Let's talk about James Boge, for example. Because I know history now has been made.
Well, history has been made. Uganda will be having a team competing at the FIFA World Cup. The Under-17 World Cup, which will be happening in Qatar in November. 48 countries will be competing there. And, for me, the kids showed tremendous recovery, coming from a goal down. In the very first minute of the game, as 17-year-olds playing in Morocco against Gambia, I thought they showed nerves of steel to compose themselves and bounce back, find a level through Bulgaria, and they win through Bulgaria. And I think they're deservedly there. I think that is just reward for FUFA's deliberate dedication to underage football. Because for the better part of the last 10 or so years, I think FIFA have come up with a program where they've competed in each and every underage tournament. Under 15s, under 17s, under 19s. A couple of years ago, actually, Mark, our team reached the finals of the under 20 AFCON. We were beaten by Ghana in Mauritania. Our team actually should have competed at the World Cup,
yes.
But because of COVID,
that World Cup was cancelled.
Yeah, because of, like most events during COVID.
Yeah, so this under-17 are going to make history as Uganda's first team at the World Cup. Yeah, but the under-20s should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, you make a good point, a strong point there about FUFA's deliberate dedication to youth football. Now, because when in the aftermath of that victory over Gambia, I went on X and tweeted. Congratulating them, and of course the boys first, and then of course Magogo and Fufa and Magogo. And when I congratulated Fufa and Moses Magogo, somebody in the responses was like, "What has Magogo done now?" And I was like, "Let's be fair. Give credit where it's due, because Fufa have been deliberate, and he's at the helm. Fufa have been deliberate about this. In 2015 is when they started the Juniors League. Now, yeah, I remember very well, if Mark you remember very well, clubs were resistant to that.
Yeah.
Because it meant extra expenses for them to start a youth team and maintain and manage it when they were struggling with finances to actually maintain their senior teams. Yeah. So I remember the resistance that suffered, that faced. But that Junior League, FUFA stood its ground, and it was a rule for you to actually compete in the Senior League that you had to have a team in the Junior League. That league has grown in strength. It's there, and kids have come out of there who have competed for us. And so when FUFA did that, then the other thing they did is then they went and actually ensured that these teams get into all competitions. Now it's tough to enroll most federations in the country, enroll a national team or two in international competitions, but these guys have up to 10 national teams because of the youth ones plus the women, and it's tough. It is tough to maintain that regardless of how much money you get. Sometimes, of course, Mark, people have questioned how much money, how much of the sports budget FUFA take compared to other federations. And here's the justification, finally, is that we involve in so many national teams, and where people have been asking for results, finally they have one, which they can use to throw in everybody's faces. But because they have that, I think it's called the CAF, there's a CAF Schools Championship in which FUFA actually has been enrolling enrolling competitions. It's actually funded by the Motsepe Foundation. Motsepe is the head of CAF. And some of the kids I was seeing on that team who played against Gambia have actually competed in that competition. Yeah, and because they enroll all these kids in these competitions, Mark has talked about the under 15 and the under 20. That under 15 team which won Sekafa, because the under 15 and under 18 and all, Uganda has actually been champion of those Sekafas and then gone on to AFCONs. I remember that Travis Mutiaba was in that under 15 team which won AFCON, I think in not so long ago. I'm trying to remember which year, but Travis Mutiaba was in that under 15 team, because I remember that name catching my eye. But even before this current team, under 17s who have made history, the guys who are in those underage competitions, who are on the senior national team today, I've just talked about Travis Mutiaba, but go backwards and see Gavin Chizito, Kenneth Semakula, Aziz Kayondo, Bobo Sibia Ruhanga, Travis himself, and even Muhammad Shaban,
Richard Basangwa,
who scores goals for us up front. I just mentioned the guys who were in the squad for Guinea, because it was our last Cranes game. So there's credit there because there's been continuity because of their because of their insistence. But and then they also there's the other thing, the contribution of academies. Again, FUFA has also promoted there, and you know what Magogo's contribution was to the current sports law that we're using and all, a regulation of academies and everything. This is now provided for, because when I was looking through again the squad before we came on set, I saw that there are players from, you know that academy in Masaka, El Cambio. El Cambio is a Spanish word for change, but the guy I think was running it was actually Danish. There's an academy in Masaka which is doing a great job for underage football, and their kids, I think they had up to 4 kids in this team. They had up to like 8 or 9 in the squad.
I didn't see their YouTube clips.
You see them, yeah?
Yeah,
El Cambio,
time and again, and there's some.
It's amazing.
For those who love Jogo Bonito,
yes,
those
El Cambio guys are there, yeah?
A very good job of Jogo Bonito.
To tend to themselves, and they have got to be given credit for the role they play also in promoting youth football in the country.
I mean, Dr. Mulindo has been very consistent.
I think they had like 9 or 8 players before. I don't know how many of them ended up on the final squad or on the final team.
Oh yes.
But those kids play because they also play that junior league which FUFA insisted on and started. They play for Vipers in the junior league and the school.
And of course FUFA have also
out of school,
the FUFA Cup, which is a competition for schools.
The TV Cup. Is it FUFA TV Cup?
FUFA TV Cup.
Yes, yeah.
And it has also given a platform to some of these kids.
Yes, absolutely.
Their talent.
And Odilo, is it Odilo?
And Odilo, which is the primary competition. So I think.
Yeah, primary competition.
I mean, that's massive news. Listen, competing at the World Cup is a big thing.
Yes.
And Uganda will be beamed live to global television in November.
Out of Qatar.
And this is a tournament, by the way, this tournament which Uganda is going to compete in is the one which allowed the likes of Luis Figo, Manuel Ricosta to burst on the scene. Angel Di Maria, Lionel Messi, all these guys, they competed in this tournament.
The under 17,
under 17 tournament.
Yes.
I remember Jeddah winning that tournament, and Messi and Di Maria and Sergio Aguero were some of the stars. There's a very tournament Uganda is going to compete in. So
and they're the ones who went on to win the World Cup for Argentina several years later.
Several years later. So I think the lessons to learn from those teams is the challenge for us as Uganda is that we must maintain that team.
That continuity thing,
and try to see them all through. Of course, you won't have the entire team maturing to fruition together. No. But try as much as you can.
Several of them will be.
Do not use the experience of Qatar go for nothing.
Yeah,
try
to make sure that there's continuity. Yeah, because Mark, the other African countries have been ahead of us at this. I mean, all these guys that we talk of, the Kanus and the Neil Amptis and the coaches and all.
Yeah.
They played in these competitions for Nigeria and Ghana, played all the way up to the under-20s, under-21 World Cups. They've played at the Olympics as under-23s, and then they've become big internationals for them. Now, and where Uganda, for example, we've been looking to say, get a player into the Premier League, the way Nigeria, Cameroon and Ghana swam that league and all. If you have not started that early, that's one of the problems we've had. Because we've had guys who we thought had enough talent to play in the Premier League. But they were playing already in the league at a very advanced age. So when you start these kids at this, they will see them. Now Qatar, Qatar is one of the stages where they see these kids. So because there are 10 African countries that have qualified, we and Egypt were the last 2 because we went through playoffs. So the 10, you have North Africa has 3. You've got Tunisia, you've got Egypt, which I've talked about, and you've got Morocco. So West Africa has 4, Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire. And then you come down here. So Uganda, Zambia, and South Africa on this side of the world. So there's 10 of us who are going to be there on that stage. I think it's a big deal. And I like Mike, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to these kids actually taking on Bulgaria and the rest of them taking onto this stage and doing a few things that will get them early contracts into Europe and inspire the next generation of kids here.
Full credit to Brian Senyondo, the coach, because he's the one who orchestrated the team's success over Gambia.
Wow, thank you so much. That's amazing. Of course, good news for Uganda. Definitely, we can't take that lightly.